don't know me, I'm based up in Botton, and I look after all the farmland and all the gardens in Botton Village. So I'm being ably assisted today by these two. I don't know if you can see those. The black one's Bramble, and the other one's Rasp. So they keep throwing tennis balls at me while I'm in the garden trying to do this. So if the computer flops down, it's because the dog's throwing a ball at it. So today we're going to make a propagator. So I thought we'd start by having an understanding of what a propagator is. So a propagator is basically a small container that we put a bit of soil in, and it's covered with a clear lid, and that helps us germinate plants and seedlings to grow into nice big plants. What do seeds need to germinate? They need some nice sunny weather like we've got in glorious Yorkshire at the moment. We also need some soil for them to grow in, where they get the nutrients and the good things that make them grow. And what else do we need? I'm looking at the list. We also need some warmth. So that's why a propagator has a lid on it. So when the sunshine floods through, it warms up the soil and helps the seeds grow. So I'm going to try and show you how to make a propagator out of things that you might have laying about in your house. So I've raided our recycling bin. So I've got a milk carton, so some semi-skim milk carton. I've got an egg box, half dozen egg box. I've got a punnet, which some grapes came in. And then I've got another punnet, which I'm not sure what came in, but I have a feeling there might have been have chocolate in them. I'm going to show you how to make a few different ones and how to sow the seeds in them, and then hopefully if some of you have got seeds at home, or next time someone goes shopping, then get you some seeds and you can maybe grow some in your windowsill in your house. So we'll give it a go, eh? We've not done this before, so we'll start with the basic ones. If you ever buy any grapes or oranges or strawberries or raspberries or anything like that, they usually come in a plastic punnet like this, and they're ideal for this job because they've got holes in the bottom. So if we have something that didn't have holes in and we put the soil in, when you water it, all the water will stay in the container and then all the seeds will drown. So if we've got holes in the bottom, the water will, any excess water will flop out of the bottom. It won't flop, it'll float out, I guess. So if you haven't got compost, but you've got a garden, and you've got a garden that's got soil in it, then you can just go and pinch a bit of soil out of your garden. I'm sure no one will mind. Or if you've got some compost, I've got some compost conveniently next to me. So we just put a little bit of compost in like that. Can everyone see? I've dusted compost everywhere now. So we don't need much, only about an inch, something like that. And we level it about and give it a little pat. Yep. And then so there, we're ready for the seeds now. So today we're going to sow some tomato seeds. Hopefully you can see those. So these ones my wife got from the local supermarket. So if you're out shopping, have a look, see what they've got. Most shops and supermarkets, things like that, will sell seeds. Or if you're in Botton, pop down to the garden, and I'm sure one of the gardeners will be able to find you a few seeds that you can have for the house. Likewise, if you're in any of the other communities, I'm sure if you're down in Oaklands or the Grange, some of the gardeners down there might be able to help you out. And again, also in Delro as well. So inside the big packet, you usually find a smaller packet, and it's the smaller packet that's got the gold in it, i.e. the seeds. So give it a bit of a shake, tear it open. You've got to be quite careful because the seeds are really small. I'll try and show you. I'll open it up. I'll tip them onto my hands. So, oops, I've dropped one already. So the tomato seeds are on my fingertip there. Can you see it? Hopefully you can. On my little thumbnail you can. So that one little seed will grow a big tomato plant, which will give you lots of tomatoes. So basically, we put them in the little container and spread them about. We don't want them all next to each other, otherwise they start fighting with each other when they're a bit older, and they don't grow as well. So they need plenty of space. So we space them about a little bit, and then we get a little bit more soil, just a little handful, and we sprinkle it over them. And then we give it a little pat down. Hope you can all see this okay. And then jobs are good in there. We have sown our tomatoes. And then we give it a little sprinkle of water just under your tap, nothing too much. If water starts coming out of the bottom of the container, then you've given it too much water. So that's that bit done. So then with one of the other containers that I've had in the house, so this one that had some pastries in it, I think, we can place that over the top of our seed container, like so. Well, it's not fitted on very well. Sometimes you need to adapt them a little bit. Basically, it creates a little lid that it makes like a mini greenhouse. And then you can sit that on your windowsill where the sun comes in. And if you leave it there, and just keep watering it every sort of couple of days will do. Don't need to do it every day to start with. And then after about a week, you should see some little green shoots come up. And this is where I should have had here's one I did earlier. But unfortunately, I forgot to bring one home from work yesterday. So I haven't got one to show you. But you'll find little green shoots that come up. And to start with, it's just 2 little green leaves. And it'll grow and grow. And once it's about 3 or 4 inches tall, then you might need to put it into a bigger pot. But you'll be able to keep it on your windowsill. Or a greenhouse if you've got a greenhouse. Or outside in a nice sunny shaded part. So that's that one. I'll show you also how to do one out of a milk carton, because I'm sure some of you might not have a punnet, but most people have a milk carton. So for this one, you need a pair of scissors, and you want to chop the milk carton about halfway, all the way around. Try to do a straight line with me. So now we've got the bottom and we've got the top. So if we take the bottom bit to start with, if you can hear dogs barking, then our dog's going to chase some other dogs at the end of the garden. And then because a milk carton doesn't have holes in it like the fruit punnet did, we've got to make some little holes in the bottom, and that's so that we don't drown the plants. So if you just get your scissors again and make a little couple of little snips on the corners. Doesn't need to be anything big, just a little snip. And then you've got your punnet there. So we can fill that up with soil again. Put some soil in. So you can't tell as well on the milk carton, but I filled the bottom half about half full of compost. We're going to put some more seeds in there. I don't have any more tomato plants, seeds, sorry. So I'm going to sow some sweet peas. So if you've got a nice little bit of a garden and you like lovely smelly plants, sweet peas are brilliant because they have lots of flowers, and you can pick them and you can put them in your house, and they make it smell nice. Again, you open your packet, and then sweet pea seeds are a little bit bigger than tomatoes. I don't know if you can see. Can't balance. See if I can balance it on the end of my thumb or finger. There's a sweet pea seed. I don't know if you can see that. But exactly the same as the tomatoes. So we sprinkle them in, and we don't want them too close again. Otherwise, they'll have too much of a competition with one another, and they don't grow very well. And we get a handful of compost, sprinkle it on top, give it a bit of a pat, and then we water it, just not too much water. Remember, like last time I said, if water's coming out of the bottom, you've given it a little bit too much. So just a little bit, doesn't need much. And then your lid that you chopped off before can actually go back on top. You might have to squeeze the bottom a little bit. Pop it back on top. Whoa, that didn't work very well. Might need a little bit of patience for this bit. Goes on top like so. And then again, you can pop that on your windowsill and you can watch the plants grow. Once the little seedlings, excuse me, once the little seeds have started growing, you can take the lid off. Because once they've started growing, you don't want them, if you keep the lid on, they'll get too hot. So we keep them off and then they'll grow away. And once they get a bit bigger, you can put them either in a bigger pot and you can put them outside, or you could leave them inside. It's completely up to you. It depends how much space you've got. So that's about it, really. I thought I would finish by saying, giving you a few other ideas. You could use a Coca-Cola bottle, or an orange juice box, or anything that's a packet, basically. I've seen people before use them with egg boxes. So if you take the lid off the egg box, and then you've got the bottom bit where the eggs usually go, you can fill that level full with compost. You can pop one seed where each egg would have gone, put a little bit more soil on top, and then if you had another plastic punnet or something, you could sit that on top like that, and you've got yourself your own little mini propagator that can sit on your windowsill, and your seeds will grow quite happily in that. The good thing about using a cardboard egg box is that when you want to plant them up, you just tear them into their individual egg bits, like so. Maybe do a better job than me. And then you can plant that in the ground, and the cardboard will degrade and become part of the soil, and you'll never know, without doing any damage to the environment or anything. The lid always needs to be, my wife's giving me tips now, so the lid always wants to be clear. So if you've got a dark one, you wouldn't want anything that was black like that. It always wants to be see-through, so as long as you can see through it, because that lets the light through. You remember I said at the start, for a seed to germinate, it needs warmth, and that warmth comes from the sunlight. So if the sun can get through there, the plastic container acts like a little greenhouse, and the seeds will grow nicely. If you use something black like that, the sunlight can't get through, and then the seeds won't grow very well. They might probably will die. So what have I got? So let me go on my notes. Last thing, what do plants need to grow healthily? They need water, so you need to make sure you keep watering them. They need soil, and from the soil they get all their nutrients, and that's all the good things to grow into a nice big strong plant. You need to water it every now and then. It needs air, because from the air plants absorb oxygen, absorb carbon dioxide, sorry, out of the air, and then the plant turns that carbon dioxide into oxygen and helps create more oxygen for us to breathe. And they also need a bit of warmth, and you need to be patient. A little bit of time. For your tomatoes, if you sowed your tomatoes this week and you look after it nicely and we get lots of nice sunshine like today, then we will, you should have some tomatoes by sort of August time. My good assistant has just passed me some seedlings. So if you can see, I don't know how well you can see those little green shoots? So here are some of the ones I did earlier. So they're just shooting up, or well, I should say I did them, my wife did them. So these are what your tomatoes will look like when they first start growing. When you start seeing little things like that, you've done something good. And they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they'll grow some little green balls to start with, and they're your tomatoes. You need to wait for them to go red. And once they go red, you can pick them off and eat them, and then job's a good one. So that's the end, really. Hopefully you've all understood my Yorkshire accent and I haven't spoken too quickly for you all. And hopefully you now know how to make a propagator out of things you might have in your house. So have fun growing, enjoy the sunshine. Thanks very much.